November the 4th, 2000. For Leeds United striker Mark Viduka, the Premiership match against Liverpool came at a time when he was struggling to win over the Elland Road fans after his £6 million move from Celtic. Coach David O'Leary.
He'd come to a new club. He got fit a week before the season started, played, went to the Olympics, came back, and was then, had to get used to teammates again, had to get used to what the Premier League's about, and, I think he's done fine. But they didn't allow for all those things, and they were willing to jump on his back very quickly.
The match was to be the turning point in his Leeds United career. Against Liverpool, they twice found themselves 2 goals behind, but Viduka responded with 4 magnificently taken goals all of his own to win the game 4-3. The critics were silent. The Australian had gone from 0 to hero.
It was something that I'll remember, for the rest of my life for sure. And it was a game which don't come out very often. I think just the whole occasion, the way we came back and to score 4 goals was just something that I don't think can happen again.
I'm a person that loves to play, particularly on the deck, the ball, and the way I want to play, with the movement of him and the way he can put people in, the way he can hold it up, the way he can score goals. For me, for $6 million, we were getting a very good player. What is he worth now?
The Mark Viduka story began here at the Knights Stadium in Australia, home of National Soccer League club the Melbourne Knights. In 1991, the Knights were a player short in a practice match, and a certain 16-year-old was invited to join in.
I remember him strolling up the first training session of our local club here, Melbourne Knights, a number of years ago, and he had a shaven head at the time, and he was a young lad, and he was already had a big frame at that early age, and he just started banging them in from day one.
In 4 years with the Knights, Viduka managed a clean sweep of all available personal awards: top scorer, young player of the year, and player of the year. He also helped the Knights to their first ever national title in 1995.
I always dreamt of playing for the Knights when I was young down there, and even just to play for them was a big thing for me. But then to win the league with them was the biggest thing,
Reports of Viduka's performances in Australia had reached as far as Zagreb, capital of the newly formed Croatia and the birthplace of his father. President Franjo Tuđman controlled Croatia's leading club, Dinamo Zagreb, and he wanted Viduka for his team. But a month after his arrival in Zagreb, the country broke into civil war.
It was difficult because people were, it's a different mentality to Australia, where people, don't have to live in fear, and it was a good experience for me to see that, how people react to a war situation.
On the pitch, the goals continued to flow, with Viduka scoring frequently as Zagreb won the league and cup double for 3 consecutive years. But the club's fanatical fans and the media never forgot that Viduka had been signed by President Tuđman, who was becoming increasingly unpopular. When Viduka's form slumped in August 1998, he was pounced upon by both media and fans for being Tuđman's favourite, and they subjected him to a 4-month hate campaign. His best friend, Josip Skoko, was also playing in Croatia at the time.
Definitely a very difficult time. We both knew what the press was like, what the people were like there, and I saw personally they were very unfair to him, and such a quality player, and scored a lot of goals, and they still didn't respect him. And I think that was definitely because he wasn't born in Croatia, and that had something to do with it for sure.
Scottish giant Celtic offered Viduka an escape route and signed him in November 1998. But Viduka's problems in Zagreb meant he'd become disillusioned with football. After only 3 days in Glasgow, he flew back home to Melbourne and contemplated giving up football for good. Viduka eventually returned, but the Scottish press made the Aussie a scapegoat for Celtic's woes. His response was to score 27 goals in 1999-2000, winning the Player of the Season award.
That was a very satisfying time for me. You know, it was also a difficult time because we weren't doing so well, and we were getting a hard time. Not just me, I mean, the whole team was getting a hard time from the media and things like that. But it was a difficult time, but it was a good time for me. You know, I enjoyed my time up in Glasgow, and I enjoyed being a part of Celtic. I think Celtic is one of the best clubs in the world.
After a now infamous slow start at Leeds United, he scored 22 goals last season, helping the club reach the semi-final of the Champions League and finish fourth in the Premiership. Along with fellow Australian Harry Kewell, Viduka, who's still only 26, has firmly established himself in the young but talented Leeds team.
He's a great target man. He's probably the best I've played with, because he can hold the ball up and he can have 4 men on his back. You know, it's just one of them players that is so strong on the ball, and plus for a big man he's very skillful.
Along with Kewell, success at international level has eluded Viduka. He was part of the Socceroos team, which was defeated by Uruguay in the playoff for the final World Cup place in Korea and Japan. He also lost out to Iran for a place at France '98. Viduka's achievements at club level, though, have made him a genuine Australian sporting hero. Socceroo coach Frank Farina.
I think Mark Viduka is one of the best strikers in the world at the moment, out-and-out centre forwards, if you like. He could play, for my money, in any league in the world and score goals. You know, Mark, again, doesn't lack self-belief. He's not big-headed at all, but he knows he's good, and you know, that's a sign of a very good striker, if you like. And I believe he could play anywhere, whether it be Spain, Italy. With the attributes that he has, he wouldn't have any problem.
And that could well be the next move for Viduka, whose career path, it seems, never runs smoothly. Despite 7 goals this term, Leeds have struggled of late in the Premiership, dropping out of the title race, and they're in danger of missing out on a lucrative Champions League place. Leeds chairman has admitted they'll sell at least 4 players this summer, and that always raises a question about the future of their most valuable assets. And Viduka isn't short of admirers, according to one former Socceroo teammate.
Mate, all I know is fans are very fickle, especially when you play in Mark's position. You know, at the end of the day, if he scored a goal in every game, they probably wouldn't say anything. But I think he works very hard. I mean, that's my personal opinion. I think the great thing with Mark is he not only scores goals, but he makes a lot of goals, and he brings players in by holding the ball up and laying the balls off. And I think, mate, if Leeds aren't happy with him, I'm sure there's many clubs in the world that would have his services.
Real Madrid and Milan giants Internazionale are reputed to be just 2 of several clubs interested in signing the 26-year-old, even with an estimated $30 million price tag on his head. But if Leeds do decide to cash in on Viduka, there's sure to be quite a scramble for his signature.